now move over to, where is our last speaker? I thought it's Premavati, and she's going to do a poem. But Premavati, you're in Florida. You're in Florida too.
No, actually, I'm in Bolivia.
Oh, you're in Bolivia, so I got that wrong. Sorry. I had you down as calling from Florida for some reason. I knew you were from Bolivia. For some reason, I thought you were living in Florida. I got that wrong. So you were coming in from Bolivia, and Premavati is coming in from Florida. And I believe, Didi, firstly, I want to thank Manini Radha from California, who is a mountain of enthusiasm and sweetness. Always, whenever she sends me a message or talks to me, I feel this effusive, beautiful quality. And she reached out to Srimati Premavati Didi, who I believe is going to share for her Pushpanjali a poem. And she came to Prabhupada in 1973, I believe, when you were 17 years old. And you joined the Chicago Temple in 1979 when you were 23. So a very, very experienced and senior devotee. And although you took Harinam and Diksha within ISKCON, you then took Diksha from Gurudeva in 2001. I often say this, and I want to repeat it because Gurudev really impressed this in my heart, and I've sort of made it into a bit of a metaphor. We are the Trustafarians, in the sense that, you know, Trustafarian is the inheritor of the wealth. And it was your generation that created the wealth that Srila Prabhupada came to the West to give through the work and the seva, the indefatigable seva that you did. That without you, then I and many other devotees today would not have had any chance of receiving this relishable treasure. So I feel indebted to you. I know Yashadari feels the same, and many other devotees are indebted to you and many of your peers for your incredible seva, to such that we have even the opportunity to serve today. So with a very warm welcome, Srimati Premavati Didi, please offer us your Pushpanjali. Haribol, welcome.
Haribol. Can you hear me?
Very well, very well.
Okay. First of all, I just want to say that even though I was around Prabhupada's disciples for a little bit, I didn't really stay around. And so more like in 1979, after he had already entered into his unmanifest Leela, did I really join. And but still I was lucky enough to get a lot of the residual that was still around, even though Prabhupada was not present, and there weren't that many people taking advantage of the other Mahabhagavats in India. So everyone was just kind of like savoring Srila Prabhupada, and it was still pretty strong. But first, I would like to just say some prayers, and I want to show you my deities after that. And then I'll say what is not really a poem, but just my offering, and maybe it's prose, I don't know, but it's definitely not a rhyming poem. Gyana Turanandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Litanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Guruve Gora Chandraya Radhikaya Tatai Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Namo Vishmadaya Radhikaya Vyatmane Shri Shima Bhakti Vedanta Narayani Tinamne Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sak Samodaya Madhya Ganashta Yuktam Varam Varanam Purushamatam Narayanam Tvam Sadasanamami Vanchakabhaturubhyascha Kripasindubhya Evacha Patitadam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Bhaktya Aparada Lakshai Kshipchascha Kamadi Taranga Madhye Kripa Maitvam Saranam Prapanam Brinde Namaste Jagannath Vrindam. Tavai Vasmi, Najivani Taya, Vina Iti Vigana, Devi Tom Nayanam Jaganandika. I think I'll show my deities now because they're unique. They are our deities, I should say. And my husband was good enough to acquire them out of storage. And Srila Gurudeva worshiped them. They're Radha Vindavana Tabar. And they are in a dancing pose. And I'm trying, can you see that? Is that good? They're kind of unique. And so I'm just kind of showing them
go
off.
back. Did he go back slightly and hold the camera steady? That's perfect. And steady the camera.
All
Beautiful.
right, so
Wow.
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 They're kind of tall. They're not like desk deities or dresser deities, which was what we started out with, small ones, but they're pretty big, not quite life size. Anyway, I also want to say Hare Krishna to Rangapuri Prabhu because he was in Washington, D.C., where we first were when we acquired them. And he worshiped them also with us. He was visiting our Sangha because he was doing work in Washington, D.C., very important work, as I understand it. And I had no idea of all what he was involved in. And we were sad when he was no longer with us and moved back to his country. But then we moved to Florida. So first of all, I want to offer my most humble obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my Diksha Guru, Nityalila Pravishya Om Vishnupada Sutara Sata Sri Srimati Bhakti-Vedanta Narayana Gosvami Maharaja. And the same humble obeisances I'd like to offer in the dust of the lotus feet of Nityalila Pravishya Om Vishnupada Sutara Sata Sri Srimati Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Maharaj, our Srila Prabhupada, whose glorious mission to preach in the Western countries found me languishing in America, and whose manifestation of ISKCON gave me access to the Bhakti Marg, a path that taught me how to bow down and offer pranam to the powerful generals in our Guru Varga, a path that teaches appreciation and grants access to worship Srimati Tulsi Devi, and thus allowing me to acquire enough Sukritis in this lifetime for my Mahabhagavat Guru Maharaj to come and rescue me. Dear Srila Gurudev, all glories to you on the auspicious occasion of your Vyasa Puja. What you often told is so true, that we will never be able to repay our Guru or our Guru Varga, for that matter, for pointing us to this Raganuga Pravritti, which leads us to the ultimate sublime benefit of the Jiva's perfection. And yet try to repay we must. Who are you? You are Sadguru, and you so mercifully relinquish your own time and effort to write books elucidating with moonbeams that illuminate the path of spontaneous devotion. Spending countless hours, days, months, and years writing and translating for fallen jivas like me. Who are you? You are the harmonist whose divine knowledge and insight helps us to discover the Prameya so that we can understand, reconcile, and see our gurus as one in Siddhanta and one in heart. Many of us who never even saw a need to go beyond liberation are now given the opportunity to take advantage of the essence of all advice. You painstakingly traveled the globe appearing at festival after festival. You spent endless long hours and held thousands of darshans, organized and inspired a plethora of parikrams and programs, all in order to instill in us the true Jaiva Dharma. And through the gifts you gave us with your blood, sweat, and tears, we knew we were walking with a saint. You are teaching us to appreciate why going beyond Vaikuntha is necessary. Because of your divine encouragement, we endeavor to take seriously the quest for discerning the true sentiments of the soul. In that supreme realm is where we'll find pure bhakti, pure bhakti. As for me, one day in some lifetime, not caring about how far away the prayojan seems, I'll possess Nishta and I'll realize that walking with a saint all the way to Goloka Vrindavan is the only thing I want to do. This journey of the soul is not only to meet the butter thief, who is the enchanter of Cupid. More so, you are leading us to the ultimate pinnacle of devotion, where we can learn the way of love and relish the astonishing taste of bhakti ras that we'll receive from your everything, your Swamini, Vrishabhanu Nandini, Srimati Radhika, who controls Krishna, the Lord of sweetness. Alas, Srila Gurudev, during this special event, while we celebrate the 100th anniversary of your divine appearance, I humbly petition you, for I'm desiring that which is rarely achieved. I'm begging you to keep me in your merciful glance, birth after birth, so that the glorious reality of pure, unadulterated bhakti will not just remain a distant dream for me. I have no qualification unless you give me qualification, and you are my only hope. Vaishnavas are running behind you weeping, and I'm crawling behind them begging to develop real sincerity and to obtain actual greed for Radha Dasyam. So I think the reason that Manini Radhi called it a poem is because I don't know why she did, but anyway, what I tried to do was encapsulate the titles of some of Gurudev's books in order to outline some of the concepts that I've been learning from my older God brothers and sisters and the stalwarts who are in my circle of family and friends and of Vaishnavas. In New York with Bhumipati and who's doing the conference call. We can learn a lot. And then Mukunda comes on, there's Shyam Prabhu, Tarun Krishna, Sahadev Prabhu, Usha Didi. There's so many people who come and know so much and contribute. And then actually I met Srila Gurudev in 2001 because I had an acquaintance from 20 years previous, and he wanted to invite me to see Srila Gurudev at a festival that he and Mukunda and others were putting on in Virginia, which was the Washington, D.C. area. So it was at Prince William. So I spoke with this Prabhu over the phone for months, and he sent me literature from Srila Gurudev, and he sent me articles that he printed out, and this is all back in 2001. And he expressed his attraction to me. And we had, when we were first acquainted, we had a slight attraction for each other, but it didn't develop and we went our separate ways. And so now he was inviting me to come, and I met Srila Gurudeva, and I asked this friend, Sanatana Goswami Das, if I could take initiation. And he told me, don't worry about it, I'll arrange it. And then I had already been initiated, I thought, so-called initiated by someone who, the mantras didn't come from a Rasi Bhakta. So it was my understanding that I needed to become initiated in the real sense. And Puru Das was there, and I was expressing to him that I was afraid I was being wrong, I was being offensive by not asking permission first to take initiation. And he asked who my guru was, and I told him, and he said, oh, psh. And so whatever he said after that, I don't know, it was just that, oh, psh, like, please don't even consider it. Take initiation, you're not being offensive. And I did. And because Sanatana Prabhu had introduced me to Srila Gurudeva and arranged for me to get there and everything, I figured maybe I should stick around. Maybe he would be a good candidate. Maybe he's the one. Maybe I'll marry him. And so I did. And then I became part of this wonderful Sangha on the East Coast, basically, where I met many Prabhus and Didis who have become my friends and my teachers. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for the Zoom parikram, the Zoom glorification of Srila Gurudev for 3 days straight, and all the other Zoom things that started developing as a result of what you all are doing. And so I'm very grateful to be able to take part and hear everyone's wonderful glorification and everyone's wonderful realizations. Thank you.
Jai Didi. Thank you so much, Premavati. Sometimes I feel like as one of the MCs, after someone has spoken, offered their Pushpanjali, it's like I'm holding a very delicate flower and I have to transport it very delicately because they have shared their hearts so beautifully. And sometimes it's a struggle to do it honor because my heart is not as soft as the speaker. I felt so much soft intensity from you, just like my Srila Gurudev was softly intense. And I loved what you said, how you called him the harmonist, and how he taught us that everything from Parampara is one in Siddhanta and one in heart, and yet expressed in different ways. And I really, really appreciate your Pushpanjali. And actually, Manini Didi called it, I called it a poem. She actually said prose poem. Oh, so yeah. That actually was just to do her credit. She actually represented it very accurately. And yes, I mean, it's very beautiful. Poems don't have to rhyme, but it was very heartfelt. And I feel really honored to have heard your offering. And the beautiful thing about all these offerings, and your Pushpanjali definitely had this quality, is that it brings us, by sharing our experiences as Srila Gurudev, we're helping keeping each other connected all the time to him. Because in the same way he taught us that Parampara, all that Siddhanta is all one and one in heart. In the same way as all our experiences are subjective of Srila Gurudev, yet at the same time they're all one in heart. And that's how we keep close. That's one of the ways we keep close to Srila Gurudev. So thank you so much. Yashodhari, would you like to add anything before we close out?
What to speak after such wonderful words. I just love the fact that you embedded the whole of Srila Gurudev's books within your speech. It's just it actually just represents Srila Gurudev so well, because he is the books, and what you spoke, like he is the harmony. He is our harmony. He's he's given us everything, and yeah, I'm just really grateful, and I'm really grateful to all the speakers that have spoken today, and every week that we're getting speakers to speak, because I feel like I'm getting connected to my family, and I'm getting to know Srila Gurudev more, and I'm just really fortunate that I can say proudly that my god brothers and sisters are so nice and so loving that I'm able to even know my Srila Gurudev. Like, this is the mercy of my god brothers and sisters, that they're so happy to just share their experiences, which are so precious to them, but yet they're so happy to share them so that someone like me can get closer to Srila Gurudev. So I'm really, really, really grateful. I'm feeling really, really fortunate, and